My wife texted, "You'll hear from my lawyer only. Consider us done." I replied, "Perfect," froze every joint account, and informed her employer she no longer had access to my benefits. 2 days later, the person who called me trembling wasn't just her. I'm a 37-year-old man who spent 6 years married to someone I thought I knew. We met at a mutual friend's birthday party when I was 31, got married 2 years later in a small ceremony by the lake, and built what I thought was a solid life together. We had a nice house in a decent neighborhood, 2 cars, a comfortable routine. I worked in finance, she worked in marketing at a mid-sized firm. No kids, which turned out to be a blessing I didn't know I'd need. 3 weeks ago, everything imploded. It started on a Wednesday evening. I came home from work around 6:30, like always. The house was dark. Her car wasn't in the driveway, which wasn't unusual. She'd been working late a lot recently, or so she said. I heated up some leftovers, caught up on emails, watched some television. Around 9, I texted her asking when she'd be home. No response. By 11, I was annoyed. By midnight, I was worried. I called her phone 4 times, straight to voicemail every time. At 1:47 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text message. "You'll hear from my lawyer only. Consider us done." I stared at that message for a solid 5 minutes. Read it over and over like the words might rearrange themselves into something that made sense. No explanation, no conversation, just done. I called her immediately. Voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. I sent a text. "What the hell is this? What's going on?" 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Then, "I've been unhappy for a long time. I can't do this anymore. My lawyer will contact you about division of assets." That was it. 6 years of marriage ended with 2 text messages at 2 in the morning. I didn't sleep. I sat in our living room, on the couch we'd picked out together 3 years ago, and tried to make sense of it. Had I missed something? Had there been signs? She'd been distant lately, sure, but I thought it was work stress. She'd mentioned a big project, tight deadlines, demanding clients. She'd been coming home after 10 p.m. most nights for the past month, sometimes later. When I asked about it, she'd snap that I didn't understand the pressure she was under. Her phone had become an extension of her hand, always face down on the table, always password protected. She'd changed the code 3 weeks ago without telling me. By morning, I was past shock and into something colder. Clarity, maybe. If she wanted done, we'd be done. But on my terms, too. I called my bank at 8:01 a.m., the moment they opened. Froze our joint checking account. Froze our joint savings. Removed her access to my credit cards where she was an authorized user. I'd been the primary earner throughout our marriage, made about 3 times what she did, and most of our accounts were in my name with her added on. The representative asked if I was sure, if there was some kind of emergency. I told her my marriage had just ended, and I needed to protect my assets. She processed everything without further questions. Then I called my HR department, explained that my wife and I were separating and she needed to be removed from my health insurance, life insurance, and any beneficiary designations effective immediately. The HR representative was sympathetic, efficient, asked if I needed any time off or resources. I said no, just the administrative changes, said it would be processed by end of business. I took the day off work anyway, called a lawyer, the best divorce attorney in the area, someone I'd heard about through colleagues who'd been through similar situations. Her retainer was expensive, but I didn't care. I needed someone ruthless. Got an emergency consultation at 2 p.m. My lawyer was a woman in her 50s, sharp-eyed and no nonsense. She had a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows and a shelf full of legal precedents. I showed her the text messages, explained the timeline. She made notes on her legal pad, her pen moving quickly. "She provided no warning?" she asked. "None." "And you froze the accounts this morning?" "Every single one." She smiled slightly. "Good. That was smart. Do you know where she is?" "No idea." "Do you suspect infidelity?" I paused. "I don't know. Maybe. She's been distant for about 2 months, working late constantly, protective of her phone, changed her passcode recently. We'll want to look into that. In the meantime, don't leave the marital home. Don't move money around beyond securing it. Document everything, every text, every call, every interaction, and don't communicate with her except through text or email. We need records. I left her office feeling slightly more in control. Not better, but more prepared. I stopped at a coffee shop on the way home, sat in my car, and just breathed for 20 minutes. My hands were shaking. I hadn't eaten all day. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "What the hell did you do?" My wife's voice, shaking with rage. "I secured our assets pending legal proceedings," I said calmly. "Like your text indicated we'd be having. You froze me out of everything. I can't access any accounts. I tried to buy groceries and my card was declined." "Correct. You said your lawyer would contact me. I'm protecting my interests until that happens. You can't just... I need that money. I have bills. My rent is due." I paused. "Your rent?" Silence. Long, heavy silence. "You already have an apartment?" "That's not... Look, you're being vindictive." "I'm being practical. You want it done? We're done. But we're doing this properly. And how long have you had an apartment?" "That's none of your business anymore." "Actually, it very much is my business. That's marital funds paying for your separate residence. My lawyer is going to love this." She was breathing hard. I could hear it through the phone, could picture her pacing in whatever apartment she'd rented without telling me. "You also called my job? My boss pulled me into a meeting today asking about my insurance status. Do you know how humiliating that was? I informed my employer you were no longer my dependent. Standard procedure. I had a dentist appointment next week. I needed that insurance. And now everyone at work knows my marriage is falling apart. Not my problem anymore. You ended this marriage. Figure it out." "You're doing this to punish me." "No, I'm doing this to protect myself. There's a difference." She started crying then. Not sad crying, angry, frustrated crying. "I can't believe you're being like this. This isn't you. I can't believe you ended 6 years of marriage with a text message at 2 in the morning and expected me to just roll over. Yet here we are. We were supposed to talk about this like adults." "When? Before or after you got an apartment and prepared your exit? Before or after you had your lawyer ready to go?" "I don't have a lawyer yet." "Then you probably shouldn't have threatened me with one. My lawyer's already filed preliminary paperwork. You've got about 72 hours to respond before things get really complicated for you." She hung up on me. I made dinner, grilled chicken and vegetables, nothing fancy, and ate in silence. The house felt different, emptier, but also somehow lighter, like a weight I hadn't known I was carrying had lifted. I did the dishes, wiped down the counters, and sat in the living room staring at nothing. Over the next 2 days, I heard nothing. I went to work, came home, kept the house exactly as it was. I didn't touch her things, didn't pack anything up. Her clothes still hung in the closet. Her toiletries still lined the bathroom counter. Her books still sat on the nightstand, just existed in the space we'd shared. I slept in the guest room, couldn't bring myself to sleep in our bed. I noticed small things missing. Her laptop from the home office, her favorite coffee mug, the expensive blender she'd insisted we needed. She must have come by while I was at work. I checked the security camera footage we'd installed after a neighbor's break-in. Sure enough, she'd come by Thursday afternoon around 2 p.m., let herself in, and left 20 minutes later with 2 bags of stuff. She'd looked around the house like she was saying goodbye. Friday morning, my phone rang again. Different unknown number. I almost didn't answer, thinking it might be her calling from another phone. "Hello?" "Hi, this is calling." A man's voice, uncertain, younger than me, maybe early 30s. "I need to talk to you about your wife." My stomach dropped. The coffee I'd been drinking suddenly tasted like acid. "Who is this?" Look, this is really awkward. I'm her boyfriend. Or I was. I don't know anymore. I sat down at my kitchen table, staring at the cold cup of coffee in front of me. Her boyfriend. Yeah? For about 6 months. I didn't know she was married at first. She told me she was divorced. Then about a month ago, I found out the truth. She said you were separated, that the divorce was almost finalized, that you were just roommates at that point paying off the house together. We were very much married, I said, my voice flat. Sleeping in the same bed until Wednesday night. Jesus, I'm so sorry, man. I had no idea. She showed me fake separation papers and everything. I feel like such an idiot. I'm guessing there's a reason you're calling me. Yeah, she told me she was leaving you. She showed up at my place Wednesday night around midnight, said she'd ended things, that she was finally free, that we could be together for real now. She moved into my apartment with like 6 suitcases. Congratulations. No, wait, that's not why I'm calling. She's been living here for 2 days, and yesterday she completely freaked out. Started screaming about frozen accounts and insurance and how you'd destroyed her financially. She tried to use my credit card to pay for something. I don't even know what. I said no, and she lost it. Threw my laptop across the room. It's completely destroyed. Broke a lamp. Shattered a picture frame. Started saying I was supposed to take care of her now, that I'd promised to give her a better life than you did. And you're calling me because she left about an hour ago, said she was going to fix this, and she took my car without asking. Just grabbed my keys off the counter and left. And before she stormed out, I looked through some papers she left here. Dude, she's been stealing from your joint accounts for months. There are statements showing transfers to a separate account in just her name. Thousands and thousands of dollars. I closed my eyes, felt my jaw tighten. Send me photos of those statements. Right now. Okay, yeah, but there's something else. Last night, before she freaked out, she was on the phone with someone, I think maybe her sister or a friend, and she was talking about taking the house, taking everything, making you pay for what you did to her. She's got this whole victim narrative worked out. I heard her say something about claiming you were controlling, that you monitored her movements, that she was scared of you. None of that's true, is it? I gave her complete freedom. Never questioned where she was or what she was doing. Clearly, I should have. That's what I thought. Look, I'm sending you everything I have. Bank statements, texts where she talked about you, everything. I'm done with her. I want nothing to do with this situation. But I figured you should know what she's planning. I need you to be willing to provide a statement to my lawyer if necessary. Will you do that? He hesitated. Will I get in trouble? Like, legally? No, you didn't know she was married. You're not liable for her choices, but your testimony about the affair and her plans could be crucial. Okay. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll send you my contact information too. I'm sorry, man. I really didn't know. She seemed so genuine, so hurt by her ex-husband. I thought I was helping her start over. You're not the one who should feel like an idiot, but thank you for calling. Seriously. He sent the photos within minutes. Bank statements showing systematic transfers from our joint savings to an account I'd never seen before. She'd been siphoning money for 5 months, starting last spring, taking amounts just small enough that I hadn't noticed in the normal flow of bills and expenses, usually between $1,500 and $3,000 at a time. In total, she'd moved nearly $40,000. $40,000 of our money I'd earned, moved into an account only she could access. I forwarded everything to my lawyer immediately with a message. Evidence of financial misconduct. Boyfriend willing to testify. Call me ASAP. She called back in 10 minutes. This is good. Really good. She screwed herself. I'm filing an emergency motion to prevent her from accessing any remaining funds and to compel her to return what she stole. 20 minutes later, my wife showed up at the house. I heard her key in the door, heard her come in. I was sitting in the living room, phone in hand with my lawyer on standby text, ready to call if needed. I'd positioned myself so I could see the doorway clearly. She looked terrible. Hair messy, makeup smudged, wearing the same clothes from Wednesday night. Dark circles under her eyes. She stopped when she saw me, seemed surprised I was home. We need to talk. Your lawyer should contact mine. That's what you said. Forget the lawyer. I made a mistake. I was overwhelmed and confused, and I panicked. You panicked into someone else's bed for 6 months? She froze, face going pale. Who told you? Your boyfriend, ex-boyfriend now, I'm guessing, since you apparently destroyed his apartment and stole his car. She sank onto the couch across from me, head in her hands. This is such a mess. You made it a mess. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, it just spiraled. I met him at a work conference last spring and he paid attention to me, and you were always busy with work, and I felt invisible in this marriage and… Don't you dare try to make this about me not paying enough attention to you. You cheated. You stole $40,000 from our accounts. You planned an exit strategy and executed it via text message in the middle of the night. You rented an apartment with our money. You lied to your boyfriend about being divorced. You've been living a double life for months. I was going to give that money back, she said desperately. No, you moved it to a hidden account so you'd have a cushion when you left. I have the statements. Your boyfriend sent them to me, along with texts where you talked about me, where you planned how to take everything. Her face crumbled. He what? That bastard, he promised… He promised what? To help you destroy me? He didn't know you were still married. You lied to him too. Seems like lying is your default setting. She started crying for real then, shoulders shaking. Please, I'm so sorry. I made horrible decisions. I was confused and scared, and I thought I wanted something different, but I was wrong. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. I'll do anything. No. Please, just listen. No. You don't get to do this. You don't get to blow up our marriage, steal from me, cheat on me, plan to destroy my reputation, and then decide you made a mistake when the consequences catch up to you. I don't have anywhere to go, she whispered. He kicked me out. I can't afford a place on my own without access to our money. The apartment I rented, I can't pay next month's rent. My parents won't help. They'll be furious when they find out what I did. My dad always liked you. You should have thought about that before, all of it. So what? You're just going to leave me with nothing? After 6 years? I'm going to let the lawyers sort out what you're legally entitled to. But you're not getting a cent more than that. And based on the adultery, the financial misconduct, and the fraud, you might want to lower your expectations significantly. She stood up, angry now, tears drying. You're enjoying this. You're enjoying watching me suffer. I'm not enjoying anything. I'm numb. I'm surviving something you did to me. You ended this marriage. You stole from me. You betrayed me in every possible way. And now you're facing consequences. I'll tell people you were controlling, that you isolated me from my friends, that you monitored my phone, that I was scared of you. Go ahead. I have 6 years of text messages showing our normal, healthy communication, emails about vacation plans and dinner reservations, social media posts of us happy together, friends who'll testify that we seemed fine, that I never showed any controlling behavior, plus your boyfriend's statement about the affair and your plans, plus bank records showing you systematically stole from me, plus the lease agreement for your secret apartment. Try it. See how that works out for you. She stared at me, and I saw the moment she realized she had no leverage, no power, nothing. Her face changed, went blank, and I saw something like fear in her eyes. I need some of my things, she said quietly. Take what you need. I'll give you an hour. Then I want you gone, and I want the house key left on the kitchen counter. She went upstairs without another word. I heard drawers opening, closet doors sliding, things being moved around, the sounds of her packing up pieces of the life we'd built. 40 minutes later, she came down with 2 suitcases and a duffel bag. Her arms were full of clothes, still on hangers. She stopped at the door, balancing everything awkwardly. I really am sorry, for what it's worth. It's not worth much. Not anymore. I did love you. I do love you. I got lost. You made choices. Own them. She left without another word. I heard a car pull up. probably a rideshare. Heard her struggling to get everything inside. The door closed. I locked it behind her, stood there with my hand on the deadbolt for a long moment. Then I went to the kitchen counter. Her key was there, sitting next to a note written on the back of a receipt. "I'm sorry for everything. I hope someday you can forgive me." I threw the note in the trash and poured myself a drink. I called my lawyer and told her everything that had happened, every word exchanged. She told me I'd handled it perfectly, that I hadn't said anything that could be used against me, that my wife had essentially confessed to everything. The divorce took 4 months to finalize. My lawyer was ruthless. The bank statements showing the systematic transfers, the boyfriend's testimony about the affair, the text messages proving she'd initiated the divorce without cause. It all added up to a picture of calculated deception. In the end, she got 15% of the marital assets, about $60,000 total, which barely covered what she'd stolen. I kept the house, I kept my retirement accounts, I kept my car, I kept almost everything because the evidence of her misconduct was overwhelming. Her lawyer tried to argue for more, cited the length of the marriage, her contributions, but my lawyer buried them in documentation every time. I saw her once during the proceedings, at a mandatory mediation session 3 months in. She looked different, thinner, older somehow, hair shorter, no wedding ring, obviously. She wouldn't make eye contact. Her lawyer did all the talking. She sat there, picking at her fingernails, looking small and defeated. The boyfriend contacted me one more time, about a month after she'd destroyed his apartment, sent a long email apologizing again, said he felt manipulated and used, said she'd left his place the day after their fight and he hadn't heard from her since, said she'd stuck him with damage costs and stolen some of his stuff. I told him I didn't blame him, not really, but that I didn't want any further contact. He understood, wished me well. I heard through mutual friends that she moved 2 states away, back to her hometown. Started over somewhere no one knew what had happened. Got a job at a smaller marketing firm, took a pay cut, lives in a small apartment alone. I don't know if she tells people she's divorced or what story she spins about why her marriage ended. I don't care. I stayed in the house for a year, then sold it. Too many memories, good and bad. Every room reminded me of something. Conversations we'd had, dinners we'd shared, fights we'd had. Bought a smaller place closer to downtown. Modern, clean lines, lots of windows, completely mine. Decorated it exactly how I wanted, no compromises. I dated a little, nothing serious. Met someone nice about 8 months after the divorce was final. Took things very slowly. Told her the whole story on our 4th date. Figured she deserved to know what she was getting into. She listened, didn't judge. Told me about her own divorce years earlier. We dated for 6 months, but ultimately it didn't work out. We wanted different things, parted as friends. Took time to figure out who I was as a single person in my late 30s. Reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with during the marriage, traveled, went to places I'd always wanted to see. Took a cooking class and actually got pretty good at it. Started running, did a half marathon, read books, went to concerts, learned to enjoy my own company. What I learned: people show you who they are when their comfort is threatened. My wife was fine being dishonest as long as it served her. The moment it didn't, her mask came off completely. I also learned that protecting yourself isn't vindictive. Freezing those accounts wasn't revenge, it was survival. The boyfriend calling me was the twist I never saw coming. If he hadn't reached out, I might not have found out about the stolen money until much later. I don't hate her anymore. I don't feel much of anything toward her. She's just someone I used to know, someone who made choices that revealed who she really was. I'm okay now. Actually okay. I have a life that's entirely my own, with no lies and no hidden agendas. And I sleep soundly, knowing that when everything fell apart, I handled it with integrity.